A man had recently purchased a new computer, but did not know how to set it up or how to use it in general. So, he asked for help from a young woman he met on the street who knows about computers. She came to his house and started setting up the computer, explaining all the nuances. When it came to choosing a password, she asked, "What password should you set?" Trying to add a note of humor, the man playfully replied, "Tool." The woman entered the password without question and immediately started laughing hard to the point of tears. A notification popped up. Password rejected, not long enough. A husband and a wife spend their day working in the garden. After a while, the wife decides to take a break and go for a shower. Meanwhile, the husband, still outside, realizes that he can't find the rake anywhere. Calling out to his wife proves futile as she indicates from the window that she can't hear him. Resorting to gestures, he points to his eye, then to his knee, and makes raking motions trying to convey that he needs the rake. In response, the wife also uses gestures. She points to her eye, then grabs her left breast, slaps her butt, and rubs her crotch. Perplexed, the man rushes upstairs to ask her about this strange response. "What on earth was that all about?" he asks. The wife simply replies, "I left it behind the bush." In a rural church in Ireland, a nun is immersed in prayer when a sudden noise and a cloud of green smoke frighten her. When the smoke clears, two leprechauns appear in front of her, matching the descriptions from the stories, dressed in green clothes, decorated with fancy hats, sporting red sideburns, and about 2 feet tall. One leprechaun seems shy, while the other looks confident. The brave leprechaun greets the nun, expressing curiosity. "Hello, sister, we have a question. Are there leprechauns here who are nuns?" The nun, taken by surprise, replies, "No, I have been here for 6 years, and there are no leprechaun nuns in this church." The brave leprechaun, not at all embarrassed, continues to pry. "Only 6 years, right? This is a short time. Is there anyone who has been working here longer?" The young nun agrees, offering, "Yes, the Mother Superior has been working here for almost 70 years. She can answer your questions." Cheats. Accompanied by a nun, the leprechauns head to the Mother Superior's office. The shy leprechaun is silent, while the brave one expresses gratitude. "Nice to meet you, Mother Superior. We have a few questions." Surprised, the Mother Superior encounters a rare sight: 2 leprechauns. A brave leprechaun asks, "During the time that you have been here, have there ever been leprechaun nuns here?" The Mother Superior firmly denies, "No, I would definitely remember that." Persisting, the leprechaun asks about the history of the church, wondering if there were leprechaun nuns in the past. The Mother Superior, relying on her knowledge, answers, "I've read all our books twice. There were definitely no leprechaun nuns there." Undeterred, the leprechaun explores other possibilities by asking about leprechaun nuns in other churches in Ireland, or perhaps elsewhere in the world. The Mother Superior, after thoughtful reflection, rejects this idea. "If she is not in Ireland, I don't think she will be found anywhere else." Turning to his friend with a grin, the leprechaun declares, "See, I told you, you fucked a penguin." The day after her husband went missing in a kayaking accident, an Anchorage woman opened the door and found 2 Alaska state troopers with serious faces. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Miller, but we have some information about your husband," one of them said. Alarmed, Mrs. Miller asked, "Tell me, did you find him?" The policemen exchanged glances, and one of them replied, "We have bad news, good news, and really great news. Which ones do you want to hear first?" Fearing the worst, Mrs. Miller replied, "Tell me the bad news first." The policeman solemnly declared, "I'm sorry to tell you this, Mrs. Miller, but this morning we found your husband's body in Kachemak Bay." Shocked, Mrs. Miller gasped, "Oh my God!" Looking for a glimmer of positivity, she asked, "What's the good news?" The policeman continued, "When we pulled him out, 9 25-pound king crabs and 5 large Dungeness crabs clung to him. We believe that you are entitled to a share in the catch." Stunned, Mrs. Miller asked, "If this is good news, then what is the most wonderful?" The soldier coldly replied, "In an hour we will get him again." A large number of viewers watch my videos without a subscription. Therefore, subscribe to my channel so as not to miss new videos with funny jokes. An elderly man visited the opera, and the ticket agent asked, "Sir, what is that on your shoulder?" The old man replied, "This is my favorite parrot, Henry. He goes everywhere with me." The cashier apologetically said, "Sorry, sir, we do not allow animals in the opera." Not at all embarrassed, the old man turned the corner, imperceptibly stuffing the parrot into his pants. He whispered to Henry, "Now, Henry, be very quiet so we can both come in." Returning to the opera, he bought a ticket and entered, taking a seat next to two elderly ladies named Linda and Barbara. When the performance began, the parrot stirred. The old man unzipped his pants, allowing Henry to stick his head out and enjoy the performance. Seeing this, Linda nudged Barbara and whispered, "Does this guy look like a pervert?" Barbara, a little surprised, replied, "Why do you think this guy next to you is a pervert?" Linda explained. "He unzipped his pants and took out his thing." Barbara reassured her. "Well, don't worry about it. We saw them all in our childhood." Linda grinned. "I thought so, but the scariest thing is that his instrument sings along during the performance." A popular married couple spent the evening at home, and while the wife was planning dinner the next day, she asked her husband for $40 to buy the best meat in town. He replied, "Are you crazy? We can't afford such expensive meat. Let me show you something." They went into the bedroom, and he took out $40, holding it in front of the mirror, and said, "Do you see that $40 in the mirror? This is yours, and this is mine." Although this angered the woman, they continued their evening. The next day, when the husband returned home from work, he was surprised to find an exquisite dinner with the best meat. Puzzled, he asked his wife where she got the money from. She replied, "Okay, let me show you something. Please come with me to the bedroom." They entered the bedroom and she lifted her skirt, saying, "Do you see this in the mirror? Well, what's in the mirror is yours, and that's how I earned us meat." Earlier today, a man entered a bar and took a seat. A well-endowed blonde waitress approached, offering him a drink and inquiring about food. Glancing at the menu above the bar, which listed a hot dog for $2, a cheeseburger for $5, and a hand job for $10, the man asked the waitress if she was the one providing the hand jobs. With a grin, she confirmed that she was. The man chuckled and said, "Well, wash your hands. I'll have a cheeseburger." The man starts his new role as the administrator of the madhouse. When his acquaintance ends, he takes the opportunity to ask about the process of determining the patient's readiness for discharge. The director makes recommendations, explaining, "We ask them a simple question and evaluate their reaction to decide if they need to stay longer." To illustrate this, a nurse invites 3 patients to a demonstration. Turning to the first patient, he asks, "How much is 6 multiplied by 6? The patient nervously replies, 1,000. The disappointed nurse says, "Wrong, give this person another 6 months." I turn to the next patient, who exclaims enthusiastically, "February." The director firmly declares, "No way, 2 more years for this." Finally, he approaches the third patient, who calmly states, "Well, the answer is obviously 36. Delighted, the director asks, "How did you know that?" The patient answers nonchalantly, "Easy, I just split 1,000 for February." As they explore the castle, they encounter a staircase leading to another floor. Immersed in the historical ambience of the castle, the man expresses his amazement to his daughter, saying, "Imagine, a long time ago, the king, ministers, and other important people used to ascend these very stairs." To this, the daughter replies, "Yes, it's quite apparent." Perplexed, the man asks, "Why do you find it so obvious?" The daughter responds, "Because there weren't any elevators in their time." In the quiet hours of the night, a distressed elderly lady rushed to the hotel receptionist, her face filled with shock and fear. She exclaimed, "Please, you have to come quickly. I just spotted a man without any clothes right outside my window." The receptionist, concerned for the guest's safety, immediately followed her to her room. The elderly lady pointed to an apartment building across from the hotel and exclaimed, "There! Right there!" Peering through the window, the receptionist could only see the upper half of a man's body in the apartment, as he was shirtless. She attempted to reassure the elderly lady, suggesting, "Oh, it might just be a man preparing for bed." The elderly lady questioned, "How can you be so sure he's completely naked?" Perplexed, the receptionist looked around the room, puzzled. She asked, "What do you mean?" With a playful wink, the elderly lady replied, "Try standing on the dresser."